The USSE is, by the standards of many, one of the most fascinating nations to have ever crawled into the history books of Eldom. Today, we walk through a humble yet historically dense section of it, a region marked by an era of war, revolution, religion and perseverance. This is Adelor. My name is Pekato von Kessel, and I will be your guide through one of the country's most diverse and storied region today. We begin our tour at the southern edge of the Adelorian grainfield. Here, atop the edge of the peaceful lake, stands Gabaliver Manor. What at first looks like a simple farmhouse is actually the house of retirement of Vanla Gabaliver, who many of you will know as the last empress of the Eldom Imperium, the largest unified political entity within Stoneworks. While her reign is too complex to explain in a simple tourist guide, we can tell you that she died peacefully in this house and passed it on to her son, Myril Gabaliver, who is its current occupant. As we march out the gate, we begin to see the vast fields of grain which gives Adelor the title of the corn chamber of the USSE. It is thanks to this region that all the food within the USSE is free of charge, a formal policy that has existed since the beginning of Eldomite history. What looks so peaceful and serene though has a long and bloody history. Originally, this region was conquered by the Batu people of Western Sorona. However, they were driven out by the native Perigamian people. The Perigamians established a monarchy under Basileus Darius I, whose statue we are about to pass right now. However, that was overthrown by a communist revolt led by the player Killer 97 GR, who installed himself as the first general secretary of Pergamus. The city of Renephaeus, across the river, was established by him, and its basic layout still exists from back then. Due to their ideological friendship with the USSE, they ended up joining that state as an autonomous province and, for a while, flourished. However, with the death of the general secretary, the region experienced neglect and a demographic collapse. However, they also refused aid from the USSE. Ultimately then, the region attempted to secede, however, was beaten down by the then overlord of the USSE, Urraca. This is known as the second genocide in the region after the Batu one. After that, Lowosh, Mons and Mari people moved into the region, merging with the Pergamian remnants into the current Adelorian ethnicity, which still exists in the region. For a long time, Adelor held regional privileges and had a distinct culture from the rest of the USSE, especially under the local ruler KPX Tiger. These days, it understands itself as an ethnically distinct but nationally integrated part of the USSE, and its current General Secretary, Just Lead, is one of the most trusted advisors of the Grand Marshal Magirius. As you can see, Renephaeus was built on an island, surrounded on all sides by a large river. While this river offered a geographic limit to the city, it unfortunately had no access to the sea. It also went through a large desert, which means that infrastructure was difficult to build. However, the brilliant USSE architect and engineer Mr. Nothing proposed to connect the Izmir River and the Renephaean River via this artificial waterway known today as the Gomp River. How it got its name, you may ask? According to the reports of the workers that participated in this project, as they were connecting the two rivers with each other, they were suddenly struck by a great realization and all immediately converted to Gomphism. What may have caused this is unclear, but when that realization happened, this small monument of floating soul torches appeared over the river. I'm sure there is absolutely nothing ominous about this. You see that smoke over there? It means we are close to one of Eldom's most unique environments, the Izmirian fault line. While volcanism is rare in Eldom, it does happen sometimes, and here we see an example of subterranean pit line, which allows lava to slowly spill to the surface. The fault line wanders northeast by about 2 blocks per decade, which means that we have so far been walking all over the path this wandering volcano has taken over the past centuries. The desert we just rode through is a result of the heat from beneath the earth, making it hard for rain to not evaporate from the soil, and the plains of Adelor are the results of the fertile volcanic ashes left behind by the fault line all those thousands of years ago. You may think that this landscape would naturally be devoid of life, but that is not true. Look for example at these beautiful hot springs that exist within the fault line. The water is too hot to touch, of course, but scientists of the USSE have found microscopic life within these ponds that some believe to be ancestors of the axolotls, and others think to be some of the earliest life forms of Eldom. Ah, it's me, you pearl at the sea. Did you know that the city is located entirely on artificial islands that had to be built by its first settlers? The reason for that is as tragic as it is fascinating. The people of Caladinia, of which this city represents the southernmost point, had rebelled against the state of U.S.S.E because they wished to be a part of the USSE. Before they could be firmly integrated though, the USSE was attacked by the pirates of the Barbarosan Caliphate. Caladinia was forcefully conquered, but the pirates showed them mercy and allowed the USSE to keep a 1-block wide area of coastal land. The Caladinians were offered residence in other cities. However, they did not wish to abandon their home state and instead began building artificial islands along the coast. The great fortress in the center of this city was the first thing they built, which shows the mindset with which this city was founded. It may be hard to believe, but these days this town is one of the most peaceful and idyllic places within the entirety of the USSE, and the Grand Fortress has been turned into a library dedicated to studying and learning. Well, thank you for accompanying me on this tour. It was a pleasure to show you this corner of our beautiful nation. However, rest assured that this was not the only one. From the beautiful museum in Vostroya to the Grand Cathedral of Kiskaya, the massive oak arena of Kaishiro, and the beautiful architecture of Liberatum, the USSE has so much to offer its visitors. Please come and see us again.